Hey all, Tech Buyers Guru here with another unboxing and installation video. This is the new Kwikset SmartCode 914 touchpad electronic deadbolt. This one is in the satin color or kind of a brushed nickel color. They have a number of other colors including kind of a brass and aged bronze and maybe a couple of others. Anyway, I'm going to take this out and then we're going to do an installation. Now the interesting thing about this product versus a lot of other smart home tech products is that it comes in some pretty old-fashioned packaging. Kind of like you'd buy a lock 30 years ago in. Okay, just kind of crunched up instructions, nothing fancy, no glossy brochures. Important, we are here to help, that's important. Lots and lots of pamphlets about spacing your lock, regulatory compliance, guide in Spanish, and a guide in English. And you know, they haven't done anything particularly fancy to make this look like a high-tech product. Let's open the rest of the box and see what's inside. So here's the lock mechanism itself. Comes with a plastic wrap over the this is actually just, all this is a case for the a cover for the battery compartment. This is actually not like a touchscreen or anything. This is on the inside of your door. And then on the outside of the door, you get this. This is, they have two different versions of this, actually three different versions of this. This has obviously the regular kind of standard rubberized buttons. They also have one that has a bit of a kind of an actual touch screen where the numbers disappear and then reappear when you touch it. I've tested that one and found it really hard to use and unintuitive. I don't like it and I don't recommend it. I've actually tested this one in a different color and I really like these buttons. Look, it's not that fancy, but they really work. There's another one that has, I think, just 5 buttons. So it's like 1, 2, a 3, 4, a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 0. So fewer number of buttons. I find that kind of less intuitive for putting in your code. So I like this one the most of the Kwikset models. Let's see what else is in the box. You do get 2 keys. Of course, if you're going to be buying a smart lock with a keypad, you don't really need the keys, but you have them. And you actually do, if you want to rekey, which we're going to try to rekey an old lock to these new keys, or vice versa. Actually, this lock is rekeyable. Let me see if I can find somewhere buried in this plastic bag. Remember how I mentioned they didn't package this in a pretty fashion? Just a bunch of plastic bags in the box. This is the little tool you use to rekey it. You stick this tool, it's almost, you know, it's not that different from a paper clip. You stick it in the tiny little hole there. Let's see, I'll do a close-up here. There's a tiny little hole that's not like a dent or a speck of dust. That's actually where you put the tool to rekey it. And we're going to try that as well. But what you do is you'll rekey this lock to existing Kwikset locks. And we'll try to do that. The locks are older in this house, so we'll see if it works. Also in the box is the actual deadbolt. This is no different from any other deadbolt. There's nothing smart or high-tech about this. This is probably the exact same deadbolt they use in all of their locks. So at least that means it's going to be compatible. You get a faceplate for your door frame to strengthen it. And then you get the 4 AA batteries. So that's nice. They include the batteries you need. This does take 4 AA's and it will run through them, particularly if you have any kind of drag in your locking mechanism. Like if you can't get it so that it doesn't touch the door frame when it's locking, if there's a little bit of friction in there, it'll really drain your battery. So that's one tip I have, is really try to get it installed, and we're going to try to do that here so that there's no drag on the lock on the deadbolt, because otherwise these batteries won't last at all. So that's it. That's your unboxing, and we will be back in a minute. All right, the first thing we're going to do is rekey this lock. We have not installed it on the door, but we want to show you how this works. So first we will show that the Kwikset key that came with the SmartCode lock turns the lock. Okay, so obviously the key that it came with is compatible with a lock. Then we're going to try to insert a different Kwikset key from an older Kwikset lock. It does not turn the lock. So that's a good thing. They're not all the same keys. Now we're going to rekey this lock using the tool that's included. The first thing you do is insert the new key that came with the lock, turn it to the right 90 degrees, hold it there, then insert the rekeying tool into the slot. You'll feel kind of a little latch mechanism. Yeah, put it all the way in. Then take it out. Take the key out. Insert your old Kwikset key that you want it to be rekeyed to, and turn it 180 degrees to the left. And then turn it right. Yep. Now take it out. Put it back in. Turn your lock. It works. Let's try the so we can see that it's turning the lock where it wasn't before, kind of like a magic trick. Now, does the actual new key still work? Let's try that one. The one that came with our SmartCode lock that originally turned it no longer works. It's been rekeyed. So those keys, unless you want to use them in the future and recode them back to the original keys, those keys can now be thrown out, and you can now use the keys that you've been using in your house previously. So in this house, we have two other deadbolts that use this Kwikset key, and now this new Kwikset SmartCode lock is rekeyed to those locks. So we're using the same key for all of them, and we don't need to call a locksmith. All right, next step is installing the lock. All right, we're now going to install the deadbolt in the door. It's important to note that there's two different settings for the deadbolt. The extended setting is actually too long for our door, so you just have to twist the barrel of the mechanism, and it shortens the deadbolt. As you can see here, once we've twisted the mechanism, the word up is not in the right direction, so we have to turn the deadbolt over after we've shortened the mechanism. All right, now we're going to install it in the door. There's two sets of screws included for securing it to the door, a shorter set and a longer set. If your previous lock used a shorter screw and you don't want to drill any further into your door frame, then go ahead and use the shorter set, but for a little bit more security, you can use the longer screws, which you see right here. All right, our deadbolt is affixed to the door. As you can see here. Now we're going to install the exterior keypad. The exterior keypad fits through the center, has a mechanism that fits through, or a post that fits through the center of the deadbolt. You'll see it coming through here. There we go. And of course, the cable that powers the keypad needs to come through underneath the deadbolt. Make sure that you get it down there. Okay, next step is to affix the interior bracket. You have to feed the cable carefully through this bracket. I'm going to try to get a close-up of this right here. And you have these two long bolts that have to go through the deadbolt and then through and into the keypad on the other side. So it's a little bit hard. You're kind of fishing them through a little bit blind. So you may have to feel your way. So now we're going to fix them. Now before we tighten it down all the way, let's make sure the keypad is straight on the outside. All right, we've confirmed that the keypad is straight outside the door. So let's tighten it down. All right, now we're going to install the interior assembly. First of all, there are there's two cable ends. You got to connect those. So this one connects to the cable that you've inserted through the door. So we've attached the cable, as you can see here. Now you have to tuck it into the body of the interior mechanism. That's what we're doing right here. So now the whole cable is bundled inside, and then you fit the interior assembly onto that bracket. while also lining it up with the post that comes out through the deadbolt. Now we have it in, and we're going to need to take 2 small screws and affix it. Now there are a number of screws that kind of look alike and aren't really that well labeled in the package. 2 really small screws, which we're using right here to attach the interior mechanism to the bracket. There are actually also 3 screws that are just a little bit longer that attach the faceplate. And you'll just have to sort through the various bags that Kwikset provides. They're not labeled that well. All right. Now our interior mechanism is attached. The next step is actually to install the battery pack. We've loaded the batteries that are included in the box into the battery tray. Note that it is directional, so you have to turn this around before you install it into the mechanism. We're dropping the batteries down, and it immediately comes alive. This is doing an automatic process. All right, now it tells us it's ready. And this button here, which is actually labeled A, is to connect it to your smart home hub, which we will also do in a moment. Before we do that though, we're going to actually install the interior faceplate. And so let's do that now. Here's the faceplate, and by default, the window is actually attached with a screw, which is right here. We've actually loosened that screw so that we can get access to the window because we want to be able to program it easily. So I suggest that you unscrew that screw and take it out, or we just have it sitting there, but it's loosened. And then we can access the window, as I'll show you in a second. So now we're going to attach the faceplate. It actually comes with 3 screws, but one of them is a little bit hard to access because it goes through the bottom. If you have a door handle on your door, you're almost certain not to be able to get in there with a screwdriver. This is going to block us from getting a screwdriver in there. So we're going to just use 2 screws on either side of the locking mechanism. All right, the lock is on. Let's see if we can actually work the mechanism. Hey, that's great. So it works. All right, now we're going to set up a device. We're in our Ring app. We're going to press set up a device. We go to security devices. And Ring has recently added this feature where it supports non-Ring devices. So we're going to hit locks. We're going to go to 914 Signature Series Deadbolt. Here it is, Z-Wave Satin Nickel Lock. That's our exact lock. It says remotely check the door lock status and lock or unlock the door from your phone and tablet. That's what you're able to do, right? Okay, it says press the top left button. That's this one right here. Okay. That puts it in pairing mode. Now it's using the Z-Wave radio to try to connect our Ring alarm to the lock. Let's see if it finds it. Yes, it says device added successfully. We're going to call it, well, it's called lock 1. We're going to leave it that way for now. All right, now you can see we're in our dashboard. We're going to navigate to the devices. Okay, we go into our alarm base station and we scroll down and there's lock 1. Now keep in mind, although it's not part of your alarm system, it's using Ring's alarm as the Z-Wave hub. So here it is. Now we're going to flip the lock to, we're going to say, we're going to try to lock it. We've done it on the phone. Let's see what happens. There it goes. There's a little bit of a delay, but it did communicate and lock the door from our phone. Now we're going to unlock it. It looks like there's a delay. It's kind of a light blue, which means it's not ready to communicate. Now it's dark blue, and we can unlock it from our phone. There is a delay here, obviously. We've unlocked it, and it's still communicating. We have an error. It did not function. It did not unlock. We're going to try it again. The phone actually shows us that it did not work. So there was an error. We're going to try it again. That time it unlocked it. So let's try to lock it again from the phone. All right, it's locked. So it did have a little bit of an error there. Maybe it just needed to learn how to communicate a little bit better, and it will work from now on. Let's try it one more time. We're going to try to unlock it, which it did not do successfully. Seems to be acting much faster. Maybe there is something to having to get maybe it wasn't fully synced with our Ring alarm hub, but it seems to be working very well now. We're going to lock it one more time. Only about a second of delay. Now, the other thing that we should be able to do here is program our user codes for the exterior keypad. Let's see if we can do that. We go to Tools and Advanced Options. Reconfigure device? No. We do not see an option to program our code. So that's something that Ring probably just has not implemented in its app, and it probably should, because Kwikset's instructions imply or assume that if you have a smart home hub, you can actually program the user codes from the phone, which we cannot do here in this app. With that said, it's still a great perk for owners of the Ring alarm system. You already have a Z-Wave hub sitting in your home, so why not put it to good use? Pair it with the Kwikset SmartCode 914 Electronic Deadbolt or another smart lock of your choice. We hope you've enjoyed this unboxing and installation overview. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.